Well, it is a Sunday video update. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there and all the single dads who are playing the role of mother and father. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Today's date is Sunday, May 14th, 2023. Thank you so much for stopping by and indulging me for the next hour. So if you're new here, what we do is, or what I do is I talk about the week in review. Chat logs are open. You will behave yourself or get the boot. But if you're new here, welcome. I usually talk about the week in review. That's what the Sunday video updates are for. It's what they're about. And usually joining me off camera is Dad and Amy. Dad is out in the kitchen doing the dishes. Amy's not feeling well today. She is off camera. Hell of a day to be sick, right? I mean, on Mother's Day, that's no good. But she is off camera. She is resting. And so I guess I'm just flying solo this week. Um, So to talk about the week in review, my week was pretty good. I guess all things considered, it was a little better. Um, I deactivated my Facebook last week. I deleted my Facebook last week. And I am enjoying life without the noise and without the bullshit. And I just wanted to say for clarity that the trolls do not win. Justina Banks does not win. This is not a victory for this person. I had just decided that I'm just sick and tired of the drama. I'm sick and tired of being lied about, and I'm tired of liars being defended. So, but I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm opening a can of Pepsi because Pepsi is usually my choice of drink. Um, but yeah, so I decided to visit some parks. I went to Henderson Park, which is near Owasso, decided to walk the trails, go through the woods a little bit, and I had visited some other places. And I found out last week in kind of a difficult way, and it was actually a reminder that family is not always blood. Most of the time, family are the people that you choose to be family, and they're not always blood related. My real family, I consider to be my friends. Now, of course, my mom and dad, they are my family. They're my biological parents. But there are some relatives that just remain relatives. We have the one thing in common, which is we share common bloodline, but that's about it. I don't even consider them family. Um, and it kind of sounds harsh, but oh well, if it comes off as harsh, then I guess that's what it is. Um, but overall, generally speaking, I was reminded that um, not everyone, not your blood relatives, they are actually not family. They're just relatives. And I was reminded of that last week. I'm not going to really get into detail about that, but just know that a lesson was retaught to me that family is not always blood. And so I found out who my real family is and who my friends are. And like I said, there's a lot of friends that I would consider family any day, any time of the week. But so there's that. I did a little driving. Actually, yesterday, I ended up out in Flint without even trying. I just got in my van and started driving. I started out, I went through a little town called New Lothrop. It's in Shiawassee County. And then I just decided to take back roads. I ended up in a town called Flushing, which is in Genesee County. And then eventually I was on the borderline between Flint City and Mount Morris Township. I was actually out by Crossroads Village and Huckleberry Railroad, for those of you who are familiar with that area. Um, I was over there. I just got in my van and decided to go for a ride. And when I got back from Flint yesterday, I stopped at Henderson Park. And so, yeah, my day was actually pretty busy yesterday. I talked to my mom this morning on the phone for about an hour and a half. She was getting ready for church. And so yeah, the day started out great actually. Um, and for those of you who are wondering, I did drop a video last week for Mike out in Chandler, Arizona. I had given him, I actually had presented him with an ultimatum, and I know that he watches these videos every week. So Mike, I know you're watching this. You might not be watching it live, but you might be watching it on replay. And you still have until this Friday to call me on the phone so we can have a man-to-man conversation, or I'm gonna do exactly what the fuck I said I was gonna do, and I'm gonna tell everybody, the whole world here on this YouTube channel, I'm gonna tell the fucking world what's really going on. You don't want me to do that, so be a man, make the fucking phone call, let's have a conversation. And I'm only gonna say that again once. So, you know what you're supposed to do, and if you don't call me on Friday, on the following day, on the Saturday, which is gonna be the 20th, the whole fucking world's gonna know exactly the kind of people you are. So, do the right thing. I would, usually at this point in the video, I would turn the floor over to Dad and Amy. Of course, as I had mentioned, Dad's in the kitchen doing dishes. Amy is not feeling well today. Um, they went to the races last night. They went to the Owasso Speedway last night, and if I understand this correctly, um, Amy had eaten something and it made her not feel well. And she said her lungs are filling up with fluid, and that's not a good thing either. She's had issues with that before. So she's just resting today and she's taking it easy. Dad, he's doing okay. His legs still bother him, but I don't coddle him. I don't tell him to slow down or just relax or whatever the case may be. I tell him, "Hey, if you feel like you can do it, do it. Don't let me stop you." I mean, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Um, but in any event, he's doing okay. He's staying active, and I'm trying to keep him active so that way. And his doctor even told him, you know, Wayne, you have to stay active because it'll increase the blood flow getting down to your legs if you keep walking. Although it's painful to walk, it's still good to walk so that way the blood flow is going to circulate through your legs. So that's what he does. I don't know. Dad, did you take your medicine this morning? Okay. I don't remember giving you your medicine this morning because usually I come into the living room. My dad takes blood pressure medication and he takes an aspirin every morning. And what I usually do is I'll set the coffee pot for 5 a.m. before I go to bed the following night. I'll set the coffee pot for 4 a.m. It'll be done brewing by maybe 5:30, maybe sooner. And when we get up the following morning, we have fresh coffee ready. And I'm usually up before Dad and Amy, usually. And so what I'll do is I'll get up, take care of my business, pour Dad a cup of coffee because he'll get up, you know, about maybe an hour or two after I'm awake because I go to bed early and I get up early. And so Dad has late nights and he'll sleep in during the day sometimes, which is not a big deal. But usually I'm up before he is, and then I'll bring him his medicine and you know, I make sure he takes it. I guess I'm slacking because I didn't do it today, but he did take it. According to him, he did take it, and I'm going to take his word for it. But other than that, Dad's doing okay. Amy, she's not feeling well today. Update on my mom. Um, she'll be starting treatment soon. I think this week, if I'm not mistaken. Um, she has the port accessed in her neck, and so she will be starting treatment very soon. And I want to say that I do appreciate all the love and kindness that you've shown me for my mom, and all the love and support is greatly appreciated. I'm really worried about what's to come, although I know what to expect being a cancer survivor and all. I know what to expect, but I am still kind of worried about it. It's mom. I mean, if it was my dad, I'd be the same way. But it does bother me, and you know, I'm just kind of if I can be honest with you guys, I've been stressed. This past week has been nothing but stressful for me. Um, I don't want to get into too much detail, but I have been absolutely stressed the fuck out about a lot of things. Um, Now that I don't have Facebook, people can't keep tabs on me or what I'm doing because now they don't have that platform to where they can see every little thing I write. But something I found interesting was the fact that so many people came to me, like, after I deleted my Facebook account last week. And by the way, I'm never coming back, and I mean that with the utmost sincerity. I'm never returning to Facebook. But after I deleted my account, I can't believe, I mean, I have to believe it because I have the evidence for this, but it just kinda blew me away. Like, I had so many people emailing me, texting me, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna miss your posts, and I loved your Facebook posts. They were a bright spot to my day." And I was kinda taken back by that a little bit because here I am thinking, "Well, it's just Facebook." It's not like, you know, it's not like like it's major news to anybody. It shouldn't be major news to anybody. But then you find out that there are lots of people who genuinely care, and they look forward to reading the things that I write. They look forward to that every single day. And now they're not gonna have that again because of people who are liars, and they know they're lying, and, they continue to lie. But I am not done living. I mean, I'm still out here doing my thing. I'm still living. I'm still enjoying life. I'm doing what I need to do to survive each and every single day. And I'm not someone who's just gonna easily give up on living. That's why I try to make it known to as many of my friends that I had on Facebook. I try to make it known to as many as possible that you can still contact me. We can still have those discussions and conversations. It's just not gonna be on Facebook because, Facebook, I've figured this out. The longer I spent on Facebook or just social media in general, the more logically illiterate people are. And when I say logically illiterate, what I'm trying to say is logically impaired, because people don't understand how logic and critical thinking works, especially when you are reading things on Facebook or social media in general. I don't want to just pick on Facebook, but there are tons of people who will just believe what they are told, and they are pressured into railing against you. Because if you're not the hunter, you become the hunted. And if you have to agree with me on anything I say, now you become a target of these people who are and have been harassing and stalking me for all this time. I received, and it's the strangest thing. I received an email from a troll. I don't know who it is, but I can find it out. And I replied to the email. Let me see if I can pull this up here real quick. But they sent me an email with a rather peculiar email address. Let me see if I can find this here real quick. And the email address is, "Where is the video you promost?" They spell promise wrong. So it's all one word, all lowercase. "Where is the video you PROMOSED? Where is the video you promost at gmail.com?" So I replied, because they emailed me and said, "Where's the fucking video you promised?" And I said, "By the way, promised is spelled PROMISED, idiot." But the email that I sent before that one was a straight response to their question, how they phrased the question. "Where is the fucking video you promised?" And I replied, "What fucking video would that be?" And much to my uh, expectations, I get no response to that email. So I'm not worried about it. Um, if they're not going to be honest about who they are and they're not going to reply, then take a fucking hike, go away. Um, but I don't even know which video they were referring to. I'm not gonna, worry about that, because they weren't specific anyway. I don't promise videos unless I make it absolutely sure, or I make it known to people that I know at this specific time, if I have a video that I put together and it is scheduled to appear at a different date and time, I will make that announcement. But I don't promise any video, um, unless I'm absolutely sure that, I'm gonna, record the video and drop it on the channel. But I don't know who this person was. They obviously can't spell because they spelled promised wrong. So I knew right away that, okay, this is just it was a bunch of bullshit. It actually appeared in my spam folder, and because, my email settings are such that if it does not recognize an email address, it goes straight to the spam folder. Um, so that's why it ended up in the spam folder. I'm not really worried about it, but I did reply to the email and I asked them, I said, "Well, what fucking video would that be? And by the way, promised is spelled this way, idiot." And no response. So I'm not concerned about it. Um, I figure if you want to come on this channel, you want to be subscribed to my channel, that's great. But you will behave yourself, or I will embarrass the shit out of you. And that is a promise. So coming into the room now is my dad. Taking a break from dishes? Okay, get a cup of coffee, come back in. We got about another 45 minutes left. Um, but I've been stressed about a lot of things. I know a lot of people are concerned about my absence from social media. They want to know how I'm doing. They want to know how my mom's doing. They want to know how dad's doing. They want to know how everybody's doing, primarily myself and my parents. Um, Mom is just fed up with everything going on. Dad, he's doing okay, and I'm just stressed. Stressed out about a lot of things. Um, but every day I get through as best as I can to the best of my ability. I, I just do what I can. I'm doing what I'm just doing whatever I can do possible to get through the day. What's that? Hello? What'd you say? Oh, it's windy out today. Okay. Yeah, but, yeah, so this week, I do have plans this week. So on Saturday, I'm gonna be attending an event in Owasso, and on Friday, I have to help set up, and so I'm gonna be busy on Friday. If anybody's watching this and if you plan on texting, make sure you do it early enough in the day, or if you plan on calling, do it early enough in the day, and that includes you as well, Mike. Um, because if you don't, there's gonna be trouble. But to any of my real friends, the people who actually know the truth and they don't, get pressured into cutting ties with me, yeah, I'm gonna be busy that day. I'm gonna be busy on Friday and Saturday, so, um, if there's if there's anything you need to talk about, let's try to get it in before Friday, because I'm gonna be busy on Friday and on Saturday. I'm gonna be busy both days. But there is an event coming up. I've been asked to help set everything up, so it's gonna be a wonderful experience, and so, yeah, I'm gonna be busy. So how was your week, Dad? Stressful, huh? Right. Um, hopefully, the stress will be gone soon, I would hope, but in any event, like I said, we are taking care of business, and we're doing the right trying to do the right thing. Um, and I was just telling our viewers that, about the Mike situation. He better call me this week. He You better fucking call me, dude. Time is of the essence. Time is ticking. And if you don't call me to try to make this right, I'm gonna make it really rough on you. Oh, it's more than that. It goes beyond that. Um, it goes much further beyond that, but I'm not gonna get into detail until I know that he's gonna call me and he's gonna try to make this right with me because, you know, um, when you spend time with people, especially 4 days, which I spent 4 days with these people. They knew how I was. They saw the chemistry between me and their grandson, which they invited me out and they invited me into their home. And so after I get back and then some internet fucking troll, some internet nobody wants to shoot off at their mouth and say a bunch of shit. And now the people that I stayed with were pressured into blocking me on Facebook. Well, Mike, you have an obligation. You have a duty to call me. And if you don't call me, like I said, I'm going to make it rough on you.
Be a man. Be a man about it, Mike.
Yeah, be a man.
Behind your wife.
Well, here's the thing. You left him that message you left on Mike's voicemail. It really pissed him off.
Well, I'm sorry, but you know what?
Well,
I'm going to stick up for my son like he would stick up for his.
well, let me just say this. Why, if it really bothers you that much, Mike, then you should also take into consideration my feelings when I have people who are cutting ties with me because of what some fucking internet nobody has to say. What about my feelings? I think that's pretty chicken shit of you and your wife to just cut ties and not bother to have a conversation. We're not fucking high school kids here. We're adults.
Explain yourself.
And you're gonna get a hold of me, Mike, and that's all there is to it. You will make the phone call, or I'm gonna make it difficult on you, and that's it. I'm gonna embarrass you in front of the whole fucking world. Everybody's gonna know about you and your wife, and that's it. The choice is yours. Make the call, or I embarrass you, and that's it. And Lori, you can make all the stupid little fucking posts you want to make on your grandkids' autism page. I don't give a rat's hairy ass what you say. People are going to find out. So you better tell that husband of yours, the guy that you refused to defend against somebody else who was cutting him down.
Yeah.
You better fucking tell him to call me. And that's it. Call me this week, because if not, I'm going to make it difficult on all of you.
And I feel sorry for the little guy.
I feel sorry for him too.
I feel sorry for the little guy.
And somebody in Arizona must be asleep behind the fucking wheel to allow these two to adopt a kid after all this. It's really fucking bogus to me. So, Mike, you know what to do. Call me. Choice is yours. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna wait around. I got shit to do this week. And if you don't call me, like I said, I'm gonna make it difficult. The whole fucking world is gonna know the story about you and your wife. I guarantee it. But anyway, so I don't want to tarnish Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day after all. Dad and I were watching a video. It was this morning, and it was on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of YouTube. I'm a content creator myself, but I also enjoy watching other content from other channels. And so I was watching a video about Army training. And how ironic that I would be watching a video on Army training on Mother's Day, which was the day that my dad went to Fort Benning, Georgia, when he was in the service, right? Is that when you and Uncle Tim? It was Mother's Day, right?
Yep.
Mother's Day of 1977.
May 8th.
Yeah. Well, today's the 14th, but on May 8th specifically, that's when Dad and Uncle Tim went to Fort Benning, Georgia, in 77. But it was back in 77, May 8th was Mother's Day. Wasn't it Mother's Day? Yeah. I'm trying to remember the story as you told it, but yeah. So, and it was just, I don't know what made me want to watch videos about, Army training and all that. But, so I showed Dad some videos about, or a video about Army training in Fort Benning, Georgia. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? I couldn't do that. I couldn't do what you did. But I give props to the brave men and women who do, including my dad, because I mean that's some serious stuff. I wouldn't want to. I couldn't handle someone screaming in my face like that. I just couldn't take it. Um, but it is a tough gig. But the fact that many young men and women choose to fight for this country, I mean, I give them props. I mean, they take a lot of shit. They go through a lot of hard training, but I think they do it for, well, not just for their country, but there's benefits involved, and they do it to support their families, much in the same way that my dad went to the army to support my oldest brother Wayne. Um, so Wayne didn't really get to see a lot of you growing up because you were
Teenagers, I just
you were in the army, and then you got remarried, and
15, 16,
yeah. I mean, but, now that we're all older, I encourage my dad, go see Wayne, go spend time with Wayne, go do something with him, and just have that father-son moment and have some bonding going on. I don't need to be there every time you wanna go and see Wayne. Go see Wayne, go do something with him, go get a pop, go, I don't know, just go fucking do something. Go do something with Wayne. He didn't really have dad all that much. Um, because of unforeseen circumstances. I don't want to really get into detail about that, but uh, my dad ended up getting remarried to my mother, and that first it was Jay and then me. So Wayne didn't really know my dad a lot, or our dad. I don't want to sound selfish, but he didn't really know our dad growing up, and now I encourage my dad to go and spend as much time as he can with Wayne, and to have that father-son bond. And what were you saying? What were you gonna say? Something about an aunt?
Yeah, I went with Anna first.
Oh, Anna. Yeah, yeah, right. I remember you telling me about that. Mom even told me about that, that you dated, Anna for a short time before, um, you and I got together, but yeah, so Mother's Day, I guess, back then, in '77, it was on May 8th. Um, and it's just weird how all of that kinda, on May 8th of '77, it was Mother's Day, but now today in 2023, May 8th, it was not Mother's Day. Uh, Today is Mother's Day,
14,
the 14th. Yeah. So, yeah, but I watched a video on the PT training, or PT or whatever. I'm just, because I here dad was kicked back on the couch, and I had my phone up like this, and I've got a video playing where they show the maneuver, all the stuff they have to do in basic training and private training. And it was at Fort Benning, Georgia, where my dad was. And I asked him, I said, "Do you remember this guy?" Because there's actually a barber who's been at Fort Benning since 1963, and dad was there in '77. So there might have been a chance that dad remembered this guy, but it's been, 46 years. So who knows? He might have passed. Um, yeah, he's been there since 1963. So he might be gone now. Um, but I figured I'd show you anyway, just to see if maybe it kind of jogged your memory a little bit. Um, but yeah, yeah, all of the hard stuff you had to do. You had to,
in the gas chamber.
oh, the gas chamber, yeah, and you had to kind of wiggle. They showed the what do you call them, trainees, I guess, the soldiers. They had to wiggle their bodies, literally wiggle their bodies from one end of the room to the other, and they had to do it on their backs, and they had to wiggle all the way across the room. So
That didn't get you tired.
yeah, and I that's a lot of wiggle. You had a lot of wiggle room, but um, so yeah, uh, I just thought it was interesting to see that.
What are you doing today?
But anyway, so Yeah, this week I have things to do at the end of the week, and so um, yeah, I have to help my buddy. Um, he's going to be having a show this week, and he asked me to help set everything up on Friday. So I'm going to be busy on Friday, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun because usually when I go to the shows, everything's already set up. He's got his own, specific crew of people who are, actively involved in that. And because I have my own lighting set up, he's asked me to come and observe and perhaps help. So that way it will help increase my education on how to set up lighting systems. And so, yeah, I think it'll be a great experience. And yeah, it should be a great time.
It ain't so much
Um,
Sabbath teaching it. It'll be the other guys that set up. That
yeah,
watch
I mean, I'll be observing and whatever I learn from that and helping them, I will apply that to my lighting setup and it might maybe potentially give me some tips on what to do with my lighting setup, like the components that I can buy to go with the setup. And, I can improve my lighting shows and such. So, yeah, should be a great time. He asked me if I would come and help him. So I am more than happy to come and help him. Um, and we've known each other for quite a while. Oh, I got a little dancing show in the back over my shoulder. But and that's not the kind of show that I'm referring to, by the way. There might be dancers there. I don't know. Um, yeah, make it rain. That's not the kind of show I'm referring to, but it should be interesting because I'm never involved in setting anything up. I've never been involved in setting any of the shows up, but this week is going to be the exception. I'm actually looking forward to it. And whatever I learn from that, like I said, I'm going to apply to my own lighting setup because I have 10 DMX lights total and I have a DMX controller. I got plenty of DMX cables. I might even put together a video showing how you program the lights and how you hook up the DMX cables, the male and female connectors, and all that stuff. So stay tuned. I might even have a video, like a little, I don't know, tutorial, I guess. So I am in the process of cleaning out my room. So once I get that cleaned out, I'm actually going to have more room so that way I can have my display out and I can use my trusty little camera on my Apple iPhone and record the bits and pieces and to kind of do a little walkthrough and a tutorial on how to set that up. Dad learned something new this past week. And I've heard the word used several times, but I never really understood what it truly meant. So now, and this is going to sound crazy, but now I know what a syllogism is. So what is a syllogism? And I know a lot of people may have also heard this and they may not know otherwise. A syllogism is when you take two propositions and you conflate them together to try to come up with a conclusion. So in other words, a proposition A might be all 65-year-old males drive station wagons. And then proposition B would be my dad is 65 years old, therefore my dad drives a station wagon. Well, that's not true because first off, while my dad is 65 years old, he doesn't drive a station wagon. He actually drives a truck. Um, um, Another syllogism would be, and this is one that an example I used when I was explaining to Amy what it means. Proposition A could be all fruit is yellow. And proposition would be an apple is a fruit. Therefore, all apples are yellow. Again, proposition A is not true because factually, all fruit is not yellow. And we know this. While we do know that our understanding of apples, yes, apples are fruit, but that doesn't mean that it's yellow. That's what a syllogism is when you take two propositions, you take two different propositions, two claims, and you try to conflate them together to come up with a new conclusion. Um, and now I'm kind of privy to that stuff when anybody tries to trick me into believing something because they combine this claim and that claim together and oh, it must arrive at this. We can connect the dots. That's not Yeah, it's not always true. What,
Same
Dad?
way with a pear. Pear is green,
Well, yeah,
then
you
it turns brown.
well, you get the idea. You get what I'm getting at though.
That means it's right.
It's like another example of a syllogism would be um all redheads are millionaires. Jared is a redhead, therefore Jared is a millionaire.
And sexy. And
Well, we're just gonna go with millionaire because that doesn't always apply either. But but although I do have red hair, that does not mean that I'm a millionaire. I sure the fuck wish I was, because I wouldn't be sitting here. But just I think everybody gets it. That's what a syllogism is. It's just two claims conflated together to come up with a new conclusion. Um, and we could go on with different examples. Um, but I was kind of, and most people would look at me like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo. Well, they do that anyway, but I was actually excited to learn something new. Um, and I just put that in the basket of knowledge of something new that I learned, and I'm just going to add it to my knowledge. So anytime someone wants to get smart with me and oh, syllogism means an orgasm, no, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about because I know what a syllogism means. I know what that is. Um, but yeah, and this is what I like about Google, because if I hear conversation and which I do often, and I, like on YouTube here, I watch interviews between famous people, a couple of celebrities. They'll sit and just talk and shoot the shit for an hour or whatever, and they'll use words that I have never heard before, or words that I have heard and don't know the meaning to, and then I'll do a little Google search of this word, and it'll give the definition, it'll give the synonyms, it'll give the antonyms, you learn how to pronounce the word, and it gives the definition, and all that stuff. It gives the full on information on the word, and I'm always happy to learn something new. And like I said, I just add it to the basket of knowledge that I have. And I talked to Dan Richards.
Dan Richard, yeah.
He and Georgianne went out to Holland this weekend for the Tulip Festival. I didn't realize that it was this weekend, or if I did, I had forgotten about it, because he did mention it last week that they were going to the Tulip Festival. But he is coming back. He will be back in time for the Fox Sunday Flashback tonight on 103.9 The Fox. I'm always happy to do a little, shout out, do a little plug for Dan. Dan and I have always gotten along. He's always been a good friend of mine. And I'm always happy to do that for him. Last week he did tell me, because we were getting ready to go. We were wrapping up the show and everything. I was helping him pack his stuff and carry it out to his vehicle. I'm like a Dan Richards roadie, I guess. But he was telling me that one of my haters had messaged him. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, here we go. Now what? And this was some time ago. And he says, I wasn't sure. I forget the name. He said, I forget the name, but they were messaging me and warning me about you. And I said, well, so what was the warning? What was the nature of the warning? And he says, well, it wasn't, it was basically just watch out for Jared Fuller. And Dan says, well, they come out here every week. They joke around. They listen to music. We have conversations, meaningful conversations. What's there to watch out for? And so, and Dan told me this. He did a little Google search on Jared Fuller, and he says, the information I found out about you? And I said, well, what's that? He says, not a damn thing. And okay, which that is expected. You're not going to find anything. And he says, I just shrug it off. He says, I know you. I know what's in your heart. He says, fuck what those people think. Yeah. And that's the attitude I have now. I got rid of Facebook, but It still bothers me. There's still a lot of things that were left unsaid that should have been said. And I don't like to leave problems unresolved. I think that's one of my biggest issues is leaving things or I don't like to leave things unresolved because I always want to solve a problem. If a problem can be solved by either talking about it civilly, having a conversation, or saying, as I always ask, where's the evidence for the claims being made? Because that's going to knock down the claim at the knees. And I always go for the knees. But in any event, it's just the idea that let's have the conversations and let's apply evidence where we would expect to find it in a case of me being accused of something. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been asking. I just get I just get really bored with trying to explain and school people on common sense, critical thinking. I just get tired and bored. But if someone comes to me and asks me and they're legitimately curious and wanting to know what's going on and what to look for, I try to help them understand. This is what you need to ask. These are the questions you need to ask. Don't just assume that something is true if you're not willing to inquire on the evidence and the data and something that can be independently verified by anybody. You don't just believe everything you're told. But he wanted to know who I was talking about. He wanted to know who I was talking about.
Now we were talking about Mike. I told him that was about that Mike.
Well, yeah.
Was Mike? He got 5 days.
He's got until Friday. That's the timeline. That's the timeline that I had assigned for him. You got until Friday to get in contact with me, or I'm going to make it difficult on him. And I mean it. I will make it difficult. The whole fucking world's going to know. So he's got until Friday to do the right thing and call me. Don't be a chicken shit coward. Call me. Now, if something that Dad said upset you, which I know it did, then you take it up with him. I didn't put Dad up to saying anything like that because I was already walking down the road when he made the phone call. I was down here. I didn't tell him to say anything.
I did because he fucking pissed me off.
So that's why I say if you have a problem with Dad, you take it up with my dad. But you and I, Mike, need to have that conversation. We need to talk about what the hell's going on because you don't invite someone into your home for 4 days and then turn around and treat someone like absolute dog shit just because of something you read on the internet. There is no reason. There is no excuse for that. I've had people, I've cut people off in the past, and this is a lesson that I've learned. When I've cut people off in the past, they would contact me and they would ask me, what was your decision for this? Now, in the beginning, I'm thinking, well, I don't really owe you an explanation, but these people are legitimately wanting to know why I made the decision I made. And me being the person I am, we had that conversation. And we resolved the misunderstanding by talking. And then we became friends again. Talking makes a difference. Having conversations makes a difference. Mike, if I wasn't sincere about trying to save a friendship, I would not be asking you to give me a call. I wouldn't ask you to call me if I didn't care so much. I was in your house for 4 days. I mean, to me, that matters. It means something. I don't hate you. I don't hate your wife. I don't hate anybody. But I want you to call me. I want to have the conversation because you and your wife, Lori, should never be pressured into doing something that you shouldn't have ever had to do in the first place. Have the conversation. Let's be men. Let's not go behind each other's backs. Let's not go on Facebook. Let's not take this to Facebook at all. Let's have a one-on-one, man-to-man conversation. And if there's something you want to say to my dad, you can tell my dad over the phone. I can't say as to whether or not my dad will apologize or if he won't apologize. I'm not him. I'm not thinking what he is thinking. He doesn't think what I think. I can't speak for him. But we need to have this conversation and we need to resolve misunderstandings. When you invited me out there, man, that was I felt like I was a part of the family when you invited me out there. And I was happy. I jumped through hoops to get the plane ticket to fly out to see you. I couldn't wait to get out there and meet you guys. And I'm so glad that I had that opportunity, but now, after all is said and done, this shit happens because of something that someone said on the internet, which I've told you before, you can't believe everything you're told. And the claims that are being made about you, Mike, I don't believe it. It's a claim. It's a claim, Mike. Someone made a claim about you, which I cannot say yes or no to because there's no way for me to verify this. I am not convinced of what this person said about you. I don't even think Dad's convinced.
That was one of your wife's friends.
Alleged friends.
Alleged friend said it.
Now, I don't necessarily believe that claim is true. There's no evidence to confirm it. But you and Lori sure made your statement by blocking me on your Facebook pages when I had Facebook, not wanting to engage in conversation with me, which is pretty fucking chicken shit. Why can't you just be a man and call me? Because if you really and truly think that any of that shit is true, then I'd never want to fucking speak to you again, if that's what you think. But there's no way for me to know that until you call me, and you have until Friday, Mike. I don't want to do that. I don't want to present you with an ultimatum. I expect you to be a man. I expect you to be mature about this, and I expect you to come forward and call me and say, okay, let's talk about this. Let's get some shit out into the open. No arguments, no name calling. Let's have the talk. If you're not willing to do that, Mike, then the gloves are coming off. And I'm not going to hold back. So do the right thing, Mike. Do the right thing. My chat log's open. No one's coming in. Just makes this much easier for me. I'm not, and for anybody to say that I'm a hater or I'm a hateful person, that couldn't be farthest from the truth. I don't hate anybody. I just don't tolerate bullshit. I don't like it when people lie about me. I don't like it when people are always, they think they have to know everything I talk about. They think they have to stick their nose into my personal business. And they think they have a right to know what I do every second of every fucking day. It's no one's business. It's my life.
I got something to say.
Go ahead.
And how are you sleeping that night, Mike? All right, when your son asked you, well, where's Jared there? Where's Jared at? How you guys sleeping that night? Knowing that your son or your grandson says that. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Exactly. How do you explain that
I don't.
to your grandson?
Yesterday was his birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Yesterday, he turned 6 years old.
Well,
Mike and Lori's grandson turned 6 years old. So happy birthday to you, bud. I'm not mad at the kid. It's not the kid's fault. It's not anything that the kid could have ever done. It's his grandparents who are irresponsible and they want to act like children and not engage and make this right with me. That's what I have the problem with. And then I had to deal with people because when I was on Facebook, I didn't tell a lot of people where I was going because of this reason. Because I knew if word got out that the fucking trolls were just waiting in the wings so they could go back and tell people, oh, well, you got to watch this Jared Fuller and you got to keep your mind open to this and keep your eyes open. And what exactly are you keeping your eyes and your mind open to? I got on a fucking airplane. What's so wrong about getting on an airplane? I mean, that should have been a clue that if I mean, I'm being accused of doing some pretty heinous shit, but yet I'm allowed clearance on an airplane. If I had any kind of legal trouble, I would have never gotten past TSA. Never. And it's amazing to me because I'm not on any do not fly list. I don't have warrants for my arrest. I don't have any convictions on my record. I don't have a speeding ticket. I don't have a parking ticket. I don't even have a fucking jaywalking ticket. I don't have a littering or loitering, none of it. I've never been in trouble. But somehow we gotta watch Jared Fuller because I don't know,
He's too perfect.
we're jealous of Jared.
Perfect.
Well,
He's never been in trouble. Well, that's a good thing.
I'm far from perfect. You know, everybody makes mistakes, but I don't break the law. I don't violate people in a way that could have me put away. I'm not that guy. You've got the wrong guy. Um, it's really frustrating when people, grown people, they're not willing to have the conversations. It's just like I was blocked from a page on Facebook called Life with Lexi on the Spectrum, and the mother, being as childish and grade school maturity level that she had, she went and it got back to me. It always gets back to Jared Bear. You all should know that by now. One way or another, surreptitiously, I find shit out. Well, this dipshit mother, if you want to call her that, had put a bunch of bullshit on her Facebook page saying, "Oh, Jared Fuller, you watch out for him, and he's a this and a that." And that's when I made the video, and I told her that if you don't take the fucking post down, I'm gonna sue you for slander. And I was told that the post was removed. Good. Don't fucking talk about me. Don't be a coward and post the shit on Facebook. Bring it to me. Grown ass adults who can't act grown.
With your attention.
Yeah. Don't be a cowardly little weasel. Bring it to my attention. You know, that's my thing. I'm not in the mood to deal with childish, spoiled, entitled fucking, you want to call them parents. Um, I just, I don't have time for it. So, anyway, in any event, we are down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I thank you so much for sitting through this for this past hour. I know someone was going to call me here after the show, but I'm going to be leaving here after the show, so they'll probably end up calling me as I'm driving. But I mean, there are people who, as I said, there were people who actually got pissed off at me. They thought that they were going to be the exception because I didn't tell anybody where I was going. There were very, very few people who knew that I was going to Arizona. Very few people. And a lot of people, one in particular, got really fucking mad at me because I wouldn't tell them where I was going. I'm not required to tell you where I'm going. And why is it so important that you know where I'm going? so you can report back to my haters? That's the kind of vibe I get. Um, I don't know why it would matter to you anyway. And then they try to hide behind us. Well, I thought we were friends. Yeah, grow the fuck up. We are friends, but that doesn't mean I have to tell you every little fucking thing I do. You're not entitled to know every little, nook and cranny of my life. But there's a lot of people that I just don't, I choose not to speak to anymore because it seems as though they like to twist everything into something and they try to make it about them, when in fact it has nothing to do with them. Nothing. I could say something that has nothing to do with anybody, and I've got people saying, "Well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" None of your fucking business. It has nothing to do with you, and that's all you need to know. Simple. But we are down to the last 4 minutes now. Dad's watching Family Feud. It's muted right now, but it's got Richard Dawson as the host. I like Family Feud. We have a channel on Dish Network. It's called Buzzer, and it's all game shows. I don't even know what year this came out. This is showing 77. I like Richard Dawson.
That Bieber family.
Bieber?
Yeah, leave the Biebers on there.
Bieber or Beaver?
Bieber.
With a V?
Leave it to Bieber.
Tony Dow, Hugh Beaumont, Jerry
Tony Dow's not on there.
I just want to make sure you're saying Beaver and not Bieber, because it sounds a lot alike. But I'm going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. I thank you all for coming by and listening to me talk for the past hour. Yeah, stressed. I am stressed about a lot of things. I've been stressed about things all week. I've been hanging out in my bedroom for the most part to avoid, any unnecessary drama. And I've been cleaning my room out. I bought some totes last week from Walmart, and I've been putting some stuff in totes and throwing away the things that I don't need and things that I no longer have use for. I am trying to clean out my room, and I'm just trying to make it look like a bedroom. And to me, it's like cleaning out my room is, it's symbolic of, I'm just decluttering my life, and I'm trying to make more room for the things that really and truly matter. And that includes friends who I consider family. And that's why I had presented Mike with this ultimatum. He's got until Friday to contact me because I'm doing a huge decluttering, not just physically, but emotionally. And there's people who are going to stay in my life, and there's people who aren't going to be in my life. And it's the same with my room. I'm throwing out the garbage. It's kind of the same thing. It's taking up space. It's got to go. But maybe when I am done cleaning my room and I get it to where I want it to be, I might take a picture and I might put it on the community tab of this YouTube channel because, I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I can't post pictures on a Facebook anymore. But yeah, so there's that. Dad, is there anything you wanted to say before we go?
No, I said Mike call.
Oh, wow. Petticoat Junction, Leave It to Beaver, the Brady Bunch, and your Hit Parade. So that's a celebrity edition of. Yeah, that's Florence Henderson, Robert Reed. Yeah.
Cindy Williams or Cindy.
That's Cindy. Bobby.
No,
Marsha.
Peter.
Yeah, he's got a fro. Robert Reed had a fro.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, it is 4:00. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to be hitting the road here pretty soon. I love you all very much. I might be back next week. I don't know yet, but you guys have an awesome week. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there and the fathers who are playing single roles, doing both mother and fatherly duties. And I'll catch you later. So much love and peace out and be good to each other. Okay. Take care, guys. I'll see you.